What's going on, Brain Deed? What's going on, everybody? Who's tuning in? I think I'm a minute early, a couple seconds early. Give everybody a minute here to hop into the. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Berry Report podcast. This is the Berry Report podcast, episode 77 for Thursday, March 15th, 2018. What's going on, everybody? Blackberry Brad here for BerryReporter.com, and back after a week off. What's going on, guys? I think I've been talking this whole time on mute here. So let's start that over again. We'll cut that out. Thank you guys for tuning in to this is the Berry Report podcast, episode 77 for the month of March. Or this is for the March 15th, 2018. Thank you guys for tuning in. Sound is back. Thanks, Romeo, for letting me know that I did not click the mute button like I thought I did. I usually start the broadcast muted, so in case anything happens in the beginning, things don't go too crazy. But thank you for tuning in. We took a week off. We were supposed to do an audio podcast, and I'll get to that in a minute why we haven't done so in a minute here. But we're back. It is the month of, this is Thursday. It's March. We're halfway through March almost. I got 2 more weeks left. It's March Madness. Today's the first day of March Madness, or technically yesterday was, but for anybody who follows college basketball in the over here in the U.S., is pretty exciting time of year for sports fans. We're almost out of winter and into spring here where I am, so hopefully the weather starts warming up. It's been about 30 degrees all day, which sounds cold, but it was actually somewhat warm today. But at least we're out of snow, or out of the snow picture, I guess. We've been hit, in my area for that matter, with a couple bad snowstorms over the past three weeks or so. And I'm done with snow, ready for spring and nice weather and baseball season and such. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the weather, having a good evening tonight. Lots to talk about here in the BlackBerry world. First, I want to start off discussing what we have going on here at the site. I always kind of like to give you guys a little inside baseball of what is going on here on the BerryReporter side. And so if you guys have noticed, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to any of our podcast feeds, like the audio podcast feeds. You might have noticed there's been something going on with them. And you kind of know, if you listen to the YouTube blogcast, you kind of got a preview of what's been going on. So recently we switched podcast hosting websites. For the longest time, actually since we've been doing podcasts, we've been hosting our on a site called Podbean. Podbean was a good site. They in the beginning they were good. They started getting very pricey. And what I mean by pricey is Podbean would start charging us for they would give us a certain amount of storage per year, and that storage started to get filled up because we started doing more and more episodes, and it got to the point where the price that they were charging us, even at a yearly price, was not, it's getting too expensive for myself and for the site and such. So we kind of had to start looking for other ways to get the audio hosted. So we found a website called Anchor, or Anchor.fm. You guys have been an upcoming podcast hosting site, and I've been paying attention to them, been liking what they were doing, but not enough to kind of pull the trigger on doing the switch. And but as of recently, I've started paying attention to them a lot, and noticed that they don't charge for hosting, so which is great news for me, and great news for us, because we want to do this as free as possible. YouTube doesn't charge me anything, so for there to be audio pricing, that's kind of a crazy thing. So, but in the process of switching from Podbean to Anchor, we had to kind of delete the episodes and resubmit them through Anchor. I also had to delete the RSS feed that we had for Podbean, which controlled where the podcast went. So if you got your podcast on iTunes, Pocket Cast, or Google Play, we had to delete those feeds because they were no longer coming from Podbean. And I had to do it that way because Podbean was going to charge me, even if I technically no longer use their service. I would be storing my podcast up there, or the podcast for the show up there, and I didn't want to pay for that. So in order to do everything, I had to delete my account with Podbean, and that caused me to have to delete all the episodes. So, but now you're wondering, where can we listen to the BerryReporter podcast? Well, you can still listen to it on Pocket Cast. You can still listen to it on iTunes, and you can also listen to it on Anchor. So Anchor is a website. There's an app out there as well. If you look in the video description below, you'll see the links for the Anchor Google Play or Android app and the iOS app as well, because I know some people like to listen to us on their iPhones or iOS devices. So if you download that app, you can listen to us there. If you don't want to listen to us on the Anchor podcast app, that's perfectly fine. You can do so on iTunes. You can do so on Pocket Cast as well. We still upload the audio files to the website. Brian Deed wants to know. Yeah, they should still be up. Should still be able to put them up on the actual website, but this will give you another way to listen to it. As for Google Play, I'm still working on Google Play Music. Their RSS feed submitting process is kind of a pain in the butt because I have to submit it a certain way, and I haven't figured out how to do that yet. But once that goes up, we'll let you know. But you can still listen to us. You just have to go resubscribe to the podcast feeds on those desired platforms. So if you're listening to us on iTunes or on your iPhone, you have to find us again. It's still the Berry Report podcast. Just look for the Berry Report or BerryReporter.com. You should find us. If you can't find us, let me know. I'll send you the link. And also put a post on the website with the links, so that'll make it easier as well. You just have to resubscribe to those feeds to get them to start downloading again. All the old episodes will come back. So if you haven't listened to some of them or you want to re-listen to them, go for it. You can do so. Anchor should be pretty cool because from one of the things that I was reading about them, I can see who's listening to an episode at any given moment. So if Romeo and Brian are listening to the episodes, I can see that. I should be able to see that in Anchor's database. I don't know how I'm sorry. That's only through, I believe, if you're listening to us on the Anchor website or Anchor application. So because you sign up with your username and password, and it shows me who's listening to it. But I can also see how many people have listened to the episodes and such, and what I could see on Podbean, but I can see it with Anchor as well. One of the cool features with Anchor, though, is that Anchor lets you, the listener, leave us an audio message. So kind of like a voicemail thing. We've tried to do this in the past, way back when, and we kind of didn't continue with it. But if you want to leave like a question for this show, you can do so with Anchor. Now, I'm still trying to figure out how to work that into the YouTube feed. I could probably just have the audio come through like a phone on a Bluetooth speaker or such, but that should be pretty simple to figure out. But you can listen if you sign up for the Anchor application, and you find the Bear Report podcast on Anchor. There's an option there that says message. If you hit that, that'll let you record the message with your phone, and you can ask questions, leave comments, how much you love the show, how much you don't like my beard, whatever you want. If you don't like the Seth Rollins poster in the back that I have standing up there now, you can say that as well. And I probably won't take it down because you don't like it, but but you can leave a comment like that. So that's what's going on with the audio podcast. That's why we didn't record last week, because I was still kind of going through the hassle of that. It took a little time to get everything back up and running, and I didn't want to post a podcast without you guys being able to listen to it in different ways. If I posted it last week, you would only be able to listen to it on the Anchor podcast, and I didn't talk about it yet, and I felt like if I didn't announce it, that wouldn't be a good thing. So pretty cool thing. If you guys like it, let me know. If you like the interface, if you like the setup or anything like that, let us know. Leave comments, leave feedback in the apps and the whatever you're listening to us on. Put posts or comments in our posts and such like that. So just let us know. And feedback is greatly appreciated. We definitely want to know how it's working for you guys. I'll let you guys know how it's working for us on our end, and hopefully you guys will do the same. So there it is, Anchor. Go check them out. There's other podcasts up there too. They don't have as many. They're still a very new company. So if you don't see your favorite podcasts up there yet, that's probably because they're not being listened to on there yet. Go tell the UTB guys to get their podcast on Anchor. Help them support the app. So that's what's going on here. Let's get to the BlackBerry news. Again, if you guys are in the chat, feel free to chat away with us and let us know what you're thinking, or what your questions, anything like that. So we'll definitely answer them live on the air. All right, let's get to it. So first thing we just learned this week, actually, I believe yesterday, BlackBerry will be announcing their Q4 earnings report on March 28th. So that is, I believe, on a Friday. No, it's on a Wednesday, right? Let's find out. Let's hand in the calendar here. Yes, it's on a Wednesday. So it's in 2 weeks from yesterday. So they're going to be announcing their Q4 earnings results. They've been on a pretty good stride with the earnings reports, and they've been reporting a lot of great growth in software and enterprise stuff, and also in just overall revenue. So hopefully they continue that trend in this Q4, and we see even more good results come their way. If you look at BlackBerry stock today, they're up about 3%. Which is good for BlackBerry. So anytime it's good, anytime that their stock is up, it's good news for them. So big news for that. We'll try doing a. I don't think we did it the last one, but the Q2 results, we did a live blog session, and I'll probably try to do that as well. I'll be listening to it with you guys and just telling you what's going on and recap my thoughts and such. So stay tuned for an announcement on that on this site. We'll let you guys know what's going on there. So other cool things that are happened. So if you've been on Amazon recently, if you typed in BlackBerry Key One 2, you might have seen some accessories populate on there. Looks like a company started posting BlackBerry Key One 2 accessories, screen protectors for that matter, in their on their Amazon account, and they're selling them. They have them up for sale, and they said they'll be shipping in June, around June, which many are believing that's when BlackBerry Mobile will start releasing the updated edition of the BlackBerry Key One. Now we don't know officially that that's going to happen. We don't know officially if that's the actual name of the next BlackBerry keyboard device from BlackBerry Mobile. We don't know anything of that officially yet, but it's a pretty good indication of when it will be releasing, because of the fact that any phone manufacturer will give out early prototypes to accessory manufacturers just so they have accessories ready. You don't want your phone to be launching on launch and then there be no accessories for people to go buy. So accessory manufacturers will get an early sample of the device so they can create accessories for that device. And they're also told when the device is releasing. So, this company itself, I believe it's SkinTech. Someone correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but they will be. So they said that their accessories are launching in June. So that means the phone itself should be releasing around that same time frame as well. Excuse me. So that's good news. So we should be a few months away from a new BlackBerry Key One upgrade. Not that I'm in need of a new BlackBerry Key One, but always an updated model is always good, better. And hopefully we see some improvements to the Key One, and hopefully they leave a lot of things the same, because the Key One is a great device, and it definitely could use, especially if you have the silver edition, it could use a bump up in RAM and storage and such. But hopefully they keep the camera trend going as well. But it's exciting. We're should be getting close to. We're in March, like I said earlier, and got April, May to wait, and then if June rolls around, that's when we get the device. That'll be soon. So stay tuned to BerryReporter.com. Of course, we'll definitely keep you up to date when we hear any type of rumblings about the next BlackBerry devices. So other cool things, if you've been using BBM, and if you're on the latest BBM update, you notice that there's a nice little feature available. It's called BBMoji. So BBMoji, if you don't know, is a way to personalize yourself and make yourself a cartoon or animated emoticon, so you can share with your friends. So you can kind of make yourself into a sticker or a cartoon sticker and share with your friends and families and such. It's a pretty cool feature. You do have to download the BBMoji application and create your own cartoon, and then you can use it inside BBM with chats and group chats as well. So pretty cool thing. A lot of people have been loving it. I really like the concept of it. I'm not using it a whole lot much because there's just something that I don't really use BBM for. It's just communication, and that's pretty much it. But it's fun to play around with. It's fun to share, especially all the different poses that they give you and different sticker choices you can choose from. So that's pretty cool. A lot of people have been loving it. I know. I really hope that this is something that will grab the attention of people who aren't using BBM. So, I said this, if you guys listen to the YouTube blogcast that I was on a week ago, that I really hope that since Snapchat has been having such a kind of a hard time with their user base, especially on Android, I really hope that people have been looking for an alternative to Snapchat, and BBM kind of starts becoming that alternative to them. Because BBM can pretty much do the same thing that Snapchat can. Snapchat gives you pretty much the big thing about Snapchat, right, is sending photos that disappear quickly, right? You had that function in BBM. We've had that for a few years now. And also you can chat in Snapchat. BBM's been known for its chatting capabilities, of course. What Snapchat doesn't have that BBM does is security. And BBM has probably more, a whole lot more security than Snapchat ever thought of. Especially because, it's got the BlackBerry encryption and stuff behind it. So, really hope that a lot of Snapchat users start taking note of what BBM is doing and maybe take the jump, especially because it works well on Android devices and iOS devices. So hopefully they continue to improve the BBM emojis and such. Let us know in the comments below. Are you using BBM emojis? We definitely would love to hear from you guys. And the some other news that we've kind of been covering a lot lately, especially kind of go back to the YouTube blogcast. I talked a lot about this on that podcast last Friday. It was me, YouTube Brad, and Roy from Barry IL. We kind of chatted about the whole Facebook. So BlackBerry has filed a patent infringement lawsuit against Facebook for violating their messaging patents, and we had a great discussion there. It was three guys who know nothing about legal policies or legal anything legal, and we were kind of just giving our own opinions on it. We don't know anything about. I'm no expert in the legal system. I'm no expert in law and anything like that. So don't take anything that I'm saying with that I know anything about. I don't have a law degree or anything like that. So, but I think it was a pretty good podcast that we did last week. Very detailed. We went through all the patent infringements that BlackBerry's filing against Facebook. They're filing this stuff against Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram because they're all owned by each other. And I said last week that WhatsApp, I believe, has a lot to do with this lawsuit, because if you look at the development of WhatsApp over the years that it started to be developed, it is a carbon copy of BBM, and it surprised me that BlackBerry isn't going after it. Now, the big thing with this lawsuit is a lot of people have been wondering, why did it take BlackBerry so long to go after Facebook? for any of this stuff against Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp or anything like that. And if you think about it, the past 5 years, BlackBerry's been rebuilding themselves, right? They've been reviving the company from a company that a lot of people thought were dead, and a company that, let's face it, didn't have much money to kind of keep going. And as now they're back, they have a ton of money with them. They have a lot of good things going for them, and I think this is a very good time for them to do this. Start going after people who are infringing on patents that they have come up with. They're the ones who created those patents. So it's nice to see this lawsuit come through and start happening. Really no trial date or anything like that. BlackBerry has requested that there is a jury on this trial, so we'll see how that goes, and we'll even see if this gets to a court case, because what could happen is Facebook could just not decide not to fight it, pay the settlement costs, and call it a day. Facebook said they are going to fight it, but excuse me, you don't know. They might just get tired of going through the legal battle and such, and So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. For those just seeing the viewership go up, if you guys have any questions or any comments or anything like that, throw it into the chat if you can see it. But yeah, we're just talking about the Facebook lawsuit that we have going on. Like I said, if you want to hear a more in-depth talk about it, it's kind of hard to talk to yourself about this, but go check out the YouTube blogcast from last week. I was on there, did discuss this with them, with Roy and YouTube Brad and such. So go check that out. But it's a really interesting lawsuit to kind of go over, and just especially if you go read the actual lawsuit. If you look at there is a link in the description below to the art article that has a link to the actual case that you can kind of go through. I forget how many pages it is, but it's pretty interesting to read through. Someone in the chat wants to know when the physical keyboard phones come out. They're already out. It's a BlackBerry Key One. Go check it out. But yeah, Facebook, BlackBerry in a lawsuit. We'll keep an eye on that to see if anything develops on that side of the story. Very cool. If you're a BlackBerry Productivity Tab user, you have noticed that there's a new update that had just rolled out. This new update is actually a pretty cool update. You can now add widgets to the Productivity Tab. So the Productivity Tab is something you can use on a BlackBerry Android device, and it allows you to see your hub messages, see your calendar, see your contacts at a quick glance. And now you can also see your Android widgets at a quick glance. Pretty cool feature. I've been using it a lot. I even use it. It just has a quick glance for sports scores. I've been putting like my MLB at bat scores up there. And it's pretty easy to just kind of slide over and see what's going on without having to go into an application and such. Kind of kills my need for widgets on my actual home screen. On any Android device I've ever owned, even before using BlackBerry devices, I've always had widgets set up for my sports scores, like ESPN, MLB at bat, the NHL. I've also had things set up for like a Spotify play feature, so I can just quickly control my tracks that I'm listening to or the music that I'm listening to, and like stock tickers and such like that. But the widgets inside Productivity Tab kind of kills the need for that. Because I no longer have to scroll to the different page that I have those widgets on already. I can just go right into the Productivity Tab and see those things. So pretty cool feature. You can also see your social networks in there. Before you could only see, I believe, just BBM, but now you can also see WhatsApp. You can see LinkedIn. You can see GroupMe. You can see, I believe, Discord's in there too. Also, so pretty cool little feature. If you're not seeing it on your BlackBerry Android device, go grab the latest update in the Google Play Store. I don't know about you guys, but I make sure that I check the Google Play Store 3 times a day sometimes. That's probably a little ridiculous, but I always recommend just going in there once a day just to grab any updates that might be pending for anything. Even if it's not BlackBerry related, if it's if you use Facebook or anything like that, they put out, updates every week or so. You just want to make sure you have the latest apps and latest features in those apps. Developers don't want to just update apps just for the heck of it. They have either fixes for things in there or updates to different features and such. So pretty cool. And yes, you can set it up to auto update, but I've been finding out they'll auto update on their own if I don't get to them right away. But if the developer just released it that day, the update that day, Google Play won't do the update right away. So that's what I've been finding out. BlackBerry has also announced a partnership or a licensing deal with a Swiss consumer electronic maker, Punkt. This is going to allow BlackBerry to Punkt is now going to use BlackBerry software on Punkt's device. So it's not going to be a BlackBerry branded device. It's going to be a Punkt branded device, and that's going to have the BlackBerry software on it, allowing them to bring security to their customer devices, which is pretty cool. Just kind of reading the press release. No word about any type of money or anything like that, but the licensing kind. So if right now, BlackBerry has been licensing, the hardware for BlackBerry devices to other manufacturers, TCL, BerryReporter, Optimus, and such like that. But this is the first of the actual OS licensing deal that they have kind of done so far. Not sure this is the first of many, of course, but it's very interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see where they go with these licensing deals with the BlackBerry secure OS and such like that. Hopefully we see cool little devices. I'll definitely be waiting to see their devices that they have coming out. What else we got here? Yeah, Punkt's an electronics market, consumer electronics manufacturer. So pretty cool little devices that they have. Go check out their website. Now, if you read BerryReporter.com this week, I believe I put this up this week. Yeah. So I put up a little article. If you've been paying attention to the smartphone world, for that matter, you've been noticing a little trend that's been going on lately. And that is a trend of, especially with Android manufacturers, there's a trend of manufacturers are now putting the notch into their devices. So if you remember back to the iPhone X, when the iPhone X came out, it was the first device to have this little notch thing inside the display. And there's a lot of people who loved it. There's a lot of people who hated it. And apparently a lot of these Android manufacturers are starting to love it or they think it's something that people love, because if you look like the LG G6 box that have come out, or leaked images, and the I forget what the actual device's name, but I believe it's a Hawaii device. They have the notch in there as well. So these manufacturers are thinking that this notch thing is going to be a very popular thing with consumers. If Apple does it, it has to work, right? So my article that I put up is kind of a statement or a plea to BlackBerry Mobile, or any BlackBerry device manufacturer for that matter, not to bring that to the BlackBerry devices, because I don't see how that would work at all with BlackBerry devices. Or could you imagine the BlackBerry Key One with a notch on it, or the Motion with a notch on it, or the Aurora, or the well, that's all there is right now. Could you imagine the PRIV with a notch to it? I don't think it would work with a BlackBerry device. I don't think it has a right look or feel to it at all. So, my pretty much plea was, article was about the notch and how I don't want it to come to a BlackBerry device. What do you guys think? Do you guys think the iPhone notch would look good on an iPhone or on a BlackBerry device? I don't even think it looks good on an iPhone device, for that matter. But that's probably just my hate for Apple devices. Don't hate them. If you use them, don't worry. I don't judge. But yeah, go check out that article. Let us know what you think. Also, last night we wrote about an article about BlackBerry Radar. So if you don't know what BlackBerry Radar BlackBerry Radar is BlackBerry's end-to-end asset tracking service that they provide to fleet companies, so trucking companies for that matter, to help keep track of their assets and their cargo as their cargo goes from one outlet to another, at one place to another. And BlackBerry Radar has been making a lot of noise. Which is interesting about BlackBerry Radar is when BlackBerry got into the released BlackBerry Radar, the asset tracking industry was already an industry that had a lot of major players to it, and it's very interesting to see how BlackBerry Radar is kind of taking off already in that market. And it's a lot of it has to do with BlackBerry and what BlackBerry is known for, security and mobile devices and such. But I think a lot of it just has to do with the product itself. And one person uses it, they'll tell their buddies in the industry that you go check it out. And apparently BlackBerry Radar has been paying off a lot. So if you look at the website, the article that we posted up yesterday, trucks.com, a website for trucking companies or trucking fans, posted an article about technology inside the trucks and inside your tractor trailers, and they mentioned BlackBerry Radar in it. And they talked to a company called Canadian Bread Co. company, and they actually put BlackBerry Radar into a lot of their trucks, or all their trucks in the fleet for that matter. And they've been seeing a lot of good things with BlackBerry Radar. One thing that they've seen, they originally thought that BlackBerry Radar was going to help them decrease their fleet by about 6%. So that would help them save money. They don't need as many drivers out on the road. Now that they're looking at it, it actually finds out that it's going to help them reduce their fleet to about 8%, which is great. Not only is BlackBerry Radar keeping their assets secure, it's also helping them save money by helping reduce costs, operation costs. Which is, if you run a company, that's definitely something you're always looking to do. Reducing operation costs is going to help you put money elsewhere, to employees, to bettering your product or your service, for that matter. So, it's a pretty cool article. Go check it out. The link's in the description below. And great news for BlackBerry Radar. I'm sure we're going to keep seeing more and more great things that come from BlackBerry Radar. I'm really interested to see where they go with this and how it continues to take off. So just a couple other things that we want to kind of go over before we wrap up the show today. 2 articles that I posted up. I'll put this one out there first. I posted up an article asking, what is your favorite paid BlackBerry app that you've ever paid for in the years of using BlackBerry devices? And the reason why I'm asking this question now is because, as we all know, BlackBerry has recently announced that developers will no longer be able to offer paid apps in BlackBerry world as of April 1st. So if there's a developer out there that's charging money for an app, they won't be able to do so after April 1st, which got me to thinking, I've paid for apps over the years. I've had a ton of them I've loved. B-Weather, I've paid for Quick Launch, which is a great app on BlackBerry OS, and also made its way to BlackBerry 10. I used it more on BlackBerry OS than I did on BlackBerry 10 though. Was also BBuzzed, which is a great app that allowed you to change your notification lights depending on what notification you had coming in. So I want to know what's your favorite paid BlackBerry app? Not a free app, not one that you downloaded for free, one that actually gave money for. I never shied away from paying for an application because of the fact that I knew what it went towards. You have to realize that BlackBerry developers, or any developer for that matter, they're charging you money, one, because it's something they do all day. It's their job. That's what they do. They're developers. And there's some developers out there that just developed BlackBerry apps, and that was it. That's all they did for a living. That's how they put food on the table for their families. That's how they paid their electric bill, and that's how they took care of themselves. And that that's one thing I knew. And 2, I always did it, especially for apps that I could see myself using or seeing become in handy. Most of these apps were like 99 cents, 2.99. Um, you know, I mean, there were some that were like $50 or anything like that. But and if they were worth it, it was worth the $50 too. But yeah, what was your favorite BlackBerry app that you paid for? And I'll kind of get to your answers in a minute here after I go over to this next topic. So the other article that I posted up is a little poll. If you remember back a few weeks ago, there was that leaked patent submission by BlackBerry Mobile and BlackBerry that a lot of people saw the PRIV in, and they thought it was the PRIV 2 or the updated version of the PRIV coming too late. Actually, it really turned into just a, I believe it's just a camera patent for another device. But it got me thinking, how many people would really like a PRIV 2? I know I love the PRIV. The PRIV was a great device. It was definitely it was the first BlackBerry Android device to come out, and it was a great device to have. It had its problems, of course. It had its issues. It had its problems with overheating and poor battery life, poor camera quality. But other than that, it was a fantastic device. It was a nifty little Android device that was kind of underappreciated, I believe, and definitely was hurt by the price tag that it had to it. So we threw up a little poll, and it looked very interesting. I was actually very neck to neck results up for a little bit. So the final results as of today. So 44 people voted yes, and 56 people voted no. Very interesting results too. At first, the yeses were winning, and now the yeses lost. So, but not by much, right? 56 to 44. That's a whole not a lot to lose by. And it's interesting to see that there are that many people out there that do want a BlackBerry PRIV 2 or an update to the BlackBerry PRIV. So I just thought that was interesting. A lot of people like that device. Brian D in the chat said that Hubby was a good app, and WorkWide. I know the WorkWide app is out there. I use that device, their app, a lot. What was Hubby? What did that do? If you're still there, Brian. Excuse me. Give it a couple minutes to see if Brian answers. Brian, I don't know if you heard me, but as what was Hubby? What was that app? Oh, okay. That's right. It was an app that let you customize the BlackBerry Hub on BlackBerry 10. Yeah, that was. I never used that app. I didn't really look in. I heard about it, but never used the application itself. But yeah, that'd be something I would, if I felt worthy of it, I'd pay for it, definitely. But yeah, let us know in the comments below what your favorite BlackBerry paid app was that you paid for on BlackBerry OS or BlackBerry 10. But yeah, and that's it for this week's show. Thank you guys for tuning in. I definitely want to reiterate something I said the last episode. If you guys haven't heard, YouTube kind of changed some of its creator policies. So for anybody who does videos on YouTube, they have changed their policy as far as monetization. So how we get paid or make money off of YouTube. And I'll kind of say this: I'm not doing this for money, but it's always nice to kind of get rewarded for things that you do. If you do this day in, day out, or week in, week out, it's a lot of work to do. Coming up with a topic list, getting in front of the camera and editing the show afterwards and such. So the thing that they've changed is that you can no longer make money off of YouTube videos if you don't have 1,000 subscribers and don't have 44,000 hours of video views. So That was one thing that we don't have is the subscribers. We have about 400 subscribers right now. So that means we haven't hit that cutoff point or hit that requirement. So I'm just, if you guys are not yet subscribed to the Bear Report podcast or our sorry, if you're not subscribed to BerryReporter.com's YouTube channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. There actually should be, I forget where it is, but somewhere along the edges, there should be our logo. If you click that, that'll give you an option just to subscribe right away. So if you guys do subscribe, go ahead and do so. Thank you very much for doing it. And, go check us out on the audio podcast as well. Like I said, go check out Anchor or find us on Pocket Cast, find us on iTunes, and enjoy you guys' week and see you guys next week. Blackberry Brad out.